Actually, I won't, because I want to talk about something very serious. But first, the gospel today is from the 6th chapter of St. John. So in the year that we normally have St. Mark, year B, Mark is short, 16 chapters. We got these 5 weeks where we go through this entire chapter of St. John, known as the Bread of Life Discourse. It's sort of John's most beautiful teaching on the Eucharist. And I had prepared a homily on that, but yesterday I felt I really needed to talk about something else. I've got 4 more weeks to deal with John 6. What I want to talk about is dark and serious. I'm talking about the revelations, yet again, of abuse of minors by clergy. Most specifically, by very high-ranking clergy. Theodore McCarrick, the retired Archbishop of Washington, D.C. And some of you, all of those who follow Catholic news, may have heard about this. Last month, he was asked to retire from all public ministry, and in his retirement, he had been very, very prolific and active in very many different causes, because there was credible allegations that he had abused a minor in the past, and since then others have come forward. And it has also emerged that while he was bishop in New Jersey, he was involved in misconduct with seminarians and priests, a bishop. That in fact, there were 2 settlements that were made in about 2005 and 2007. And apparently this was not sufficient to prevent him being promoted. Bishop of Metuchen to Archbishop of Newark to Archbishop of Washington, D.C., and then to be named a cardinal. Yesterday morning, the Holy Father, Pope Francis, accepted his resignation from the College of Cardinals, the first time in a long time, the 20th century. There's been only one other instance of a cardinal stepping down. I remember in 2002 when the scandals out of Boston broke. And as a layman, just what a disconcerting and difficult time that was. As a priest, this is even, in a sense, it's even closer. To think about a bishop and a cardinal, and to think about there were people who knew, and it still didn't matter. I think as a church, we have to call our leaders to be really accountable. St. Paul says today, I, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to live in a manner worthy of the call you have received. And I cannot think of a greater betrayal of that call by a shepherd, that he would abuse his authority and power with those whom he's supposed to love and trust and serve and lay down his life for in this horrific way. It's not just the actual sin and crime. I mean, there's bad apples in every organization, but it's the fact that people knew about this, the fact that someone could get to such a high office in the church with that knowledge. The American bishops are slowly responding. I think they're all trying to digest this as well. And Cardinal O'Malley, who's very respected, the Archbishop of Boston, he issued a statement where he said some good things, but he also called for, we have to have a new set of policies and a new set of standards for bishops. A policy that says a bishop should not abuse a seminarian. We need a policy? Do we not have the gospel and reason and moral law? Can we not expect that priests and bishops would abide by that? It's a time of purification, but I do think we can't pretend that everything's hunky-dory. And one way is to just simply be honest and express our thoughts, our feelings, our frustrations to each other and to God, and to those leaders who've been placed above us, specifically as bishops, vicars of Christ in their local church, who have a great, great responsibility. In the midst of this, there's always that question, so many times in different ways in life, right? Well, where's God? This is, we're talking about bishops and cardinals, right? There's two things I want to share from these past 2 weeks, where very powerfully the Lord revealed that he is indeed alive and his victory is real. Y'all may remember that before I went to visit my mother, I went to Toledo, Ohio that weekend to preside at the nuptials and officiate the wedding of a young couple I know. Ryan is from Athens, where I was, and he met his lovely bride and new wife, Christina, Camp Hiawassee, 6 years ago, when they were both serving as Life Teen missionaries, and they developed a relationship, a romance that has flourished and flowered and led them to the altar. It was a beautiful, beautiful time. A lot of young people, great joy, offering that Mass and receiving their consent. At the reception, I was not there for this. I went to the reception for a bit and then left for the airport. I found out about this later. Normally there's several customs that happen at weddings, tossing the bouquet and stuff. There's the tossing of the garter, a little risque. Instead of that, what they had decided to do, and I didn't know about this, that Christina sat down and Ryan knelt in front of her and washed her feet. And when I saw that, Ryan's mom had posted that on Facebook, I was so moved. I know them. They're a beautiful couple. They love the Lord and the church. She's a teacher, he's a youth minister. They're serving young people. To start out their marriage with that action of the Lord, with that action that speaks so powerfully of the gift of love that he instituted when he gave us himself, the bread of life. The Lord is truly alive. And just this past week, another young lady I know from my time in Athens, graduated UGA, has worked diligently to pay off her college debt, and she left her home in Georgia and has gone to enter a Carmelite convent out in California, a cloistered, contemplative Carmelite convent. What that means is that she's discerning this, that if God is calling her to this, she will leave the world and live in that one place behind cloister, never to leave for no reason, to dedicate herself to spending time in prayer with the Lord, prayer for us. She's a beautiful, vivacious, gifted, talented young lady. And there's so many things that she could do. But I have accompanied her on this journey as she's really felt that call to spend united with Jesus, to give herself completely to him and no other. And that is a powerful, powerful sign that the Lord is alive and well in our midst. Religious men and women, especially contemplatives, are a reminder, they're a living icon and a visible reminder to us that we are made for union with God, in each and every one of us. A reminder of what the future life, the life to come, the life that begins here in promise and sacrament and sign, what its fulfillment would be, each of us united and one with God, with the Lord, with him who is beauty himself. The natural beauty that's behind us out there is a pale glimpse, a shadow of the beauty and goodness of God, of our Creator, and that he has called each and every one of us into that relationship of love with him. And the contemplatives remind us there is nothing higher, nothing more important than that relationship. Even as we may be called to a variety of vocations in this life, we're made for heaven. We're made for union with him. Now, this young lady with a lot of difficulty, her family is finding it very difficult to accept. Her father's not Catholic, her mother is. Without the eyes of faith, what she's doing makes no sense. Makes no sense. It seems, and I've been told by the family, that she's wasting her life. She's giving her life to the greatest thing possible, the pearl of great price. In the midst of scandal and darkness, there's a reminder the Lord is alive. He's alive and well. He will, in fulfillment of what he has ordained and promised, come here in the humblest of signs, a little piece of bread and some wine. And he will give himself to us, the bread of life. It's the only thing, I think, that truly reminds us that what we are about is God's business. Because on our own, we make such a mess of it. Make such a mess of it. Pray for the church. Not the church is just the guys who wear the signs of office. Remember, we're all. This may not, the scandal I talked about may not, I hope not, directly affect any one of us here, far away from D.C. and New Jersey, but it does affect us because we're one, we're part of the body of Christ. And we, y'all, the laity, you have a right to have your voice heard, and it is not unreasonable to tell our leaders and shepherds that we can expect a church where clergy, priests, bishops, cardinals do not act like abusers and predators. That is not unreasonable. That is not extraordinary. That's the basic minimum of what one can expect. So pray and fast. Make your voice be heard. Let's all do acts of reparation on behalf of the sins of our leaders. And trust that the Lord is alive and well and victorious. The best response. Yeah, we need better standards. We need investigation. We need all of those things so that we move ahead. We actually move ahead and become a church that doesn't focus so much on protecting the institution of the reputation of the institution and telling victims that they can't talk and coming to settlements, but that truly wishes to heal, that truly wishes to serve those who have been hurt, that we keep the interests of those who have been hurt first and not our own skins. But the best response, well, if each and every one of us keep in mind that we all will be called to give an account of our life one day to the just judge, and live that way, and take seriously our own call to holiness. The response to evil is the cross, and it's always the Lord raising up saints, raising up saints. That's each and every one of us here is called to do that in our own way. To be holy, to be on fire with the love of God, and let the love of God fill us and direct us and spill out. Let's take that seriously. And as we come with this great privilege of receiving the Lord himself, the bread of life, let that reception today, our devout, discerned reception of Holy Communion, increase the gift of grace and holiness in us so that we can go forward out of here, transform the world, yes, transform ourselves, and be agents for the purification and renewal of Christ's holy church. Amen.